Okay, hello. This is ultimately the brightest light I could have laid my hands on. So, thank you for watching my first YouTube video. I'm gonna try and keep this one simple. I'm not usually a woman of many words. However, there might be a lot coming out. So, I wanted to generally speak about my experience as a small artist. And when I say small artist, I don't necessarily mean a beginner, as I've technically been painting for 10 years or so, but I haven't been taking it seriously until recently. I just kind of like noticed how much I really enjoy making art. Like physical 2D art and sometimes 3D, but I'm not as good at it as I'm not as good at it as I am with 2D art. First things first, I do want to speak about how I'm getting my art out there. So I've been making all these pieces, right? And they're all just kind of gathering in my house. I wasn't quite sure how to show them off aside from the one Instagram account that I have. I was thinking maybe I could make a separate art account for this, and that's what I've done. I've just made a separate Instagram account with all my art on it that's separated from my personal stuff so that people can see what I have. Aside from that, I was thinking of branching out, which is why I've started this YouTube channel. I've also experimented with a TikTok, even though I'm not that big a fan of TikTok anymore. I figure, hey, I'm just gonna try any avenue I can. I think that my speed paint videos would do really well on TikTok, whereas the still photos are gonna do better on Instagram. Maybe the utilization of Reels on Instagram would be great for speed paints, but I'll figure that out later. So I'm dealing with the harsh reality of judgment on my art, and maybe it's only a harsh reality because I'm being harsh on myself. I honestly think that's the case. It's gonna be hard to change my mind about it, but I am scared to show people my paintings. I don't even like what's going on back there. I think I need to maybe switch that around. Okay, so I've switched that one because I didn't like looking at the other one. Yeah, I need to get past my own perception of my art because I'm very judgmental of the things I'm making and the fear of what other people might think of my art. Because I know that there's always an audience for something. And somebody somewhere might be like, hey, I really love that green one that you just took down, even though you highly dislike it. And I like the pink one less, or vice versa. It's just something I'll need to battle with. Even showing people my art in person is a challenge. Like, I paint with my fiance in the room, and he'll come over and look at it, and I shake in fear almost because I don't want him to judge my art, even though I know he loves it and I know he's not judging me. What am I afraid of? There's a part of me that's like less afraid to show people my art if it's online, because I'm not having to face these people. Is that cowardly? Maybe. Anyway, I'm gonna move on to the next topic. Time and effort. I'd say for each one of these line pieces, like the one behind me, I spend roughly 3 days on it, and I don't spend the whole day. I spend like an hour and a half max on it, and I'm gonna need to work on spending more time on a painting at once if I'm gonna make this a full-time thing in the future, which I'd love to happen, but who knows. I just spend like a couple hours a day on a piece, or like I'll move back and forth between 2 different pieces because I'll get bored with one and start another one, or just start working on one that I forgot about a couple weeks ago. It's just how it is. If I'm working on something that isn't like one of these lines and tangle pieces, however you want to call it, it's gonna take me much longer because I'm not so much used to doing that other style that I do. I think the more that I do those other types of pieces that I really love, the more I'll learn. I'm a very consistent person. Quantity is always gonna be there. Maybe not quality, but I think over time, since I will keep producing these pieces, the quality will naturally come. There is a certain frustration that comes with trying new things, such as this other type of style that I do. I learn through repetition, and I'll quickly learn from my mistakes. The more I mess up and the more I replicate what I'm trying to do. But in the end, it takes a lot of effort to make any improvement, and sometimes that's discouraging, but I'm willing to be a little bit discouraged in order to get better at what I love to do. As far as supplies go, I spend quite a bit of money on paint, and to save on costs, I like to try and ask for paint, canvases, and brushes for my birthday and for the holidays. If my mom's asking me, hey, what would you like this year for Christmas, because I celebrate Christmas, I'm gonna say, hey, I ran out of acrylic paint. Could I please have like this specific set? Or my brushes are really crusty because I was pushing too hard on the lines this year. I need like 10 more. Supplies can get to be a little much, and it can also clutter my workspace, which I find annoying a lot, especially now that I have all these paintings that are not being sold. I'm just like, it's an art collection in my house. The supplies I'm using are typically just Art Loft cheap canvases, Art Loft paint, and I do believe the brushes are also Art Loft. I think acrylic paint is one of the cheapest types of paints, and oil painters will always say, come to the dark side, do oil, but I'm not willing to spend that cost quite yet. I'm gonna come back to consistency now. I think I mentioned it a little bit. If there's one thing I'm known for, it's consistency. My Duolingo streak is at 746 as of today. And I'm proud of it. If I know I'm good with consistency, I know I can be there for myself and continuously make art, even when I don't feel like it. I'm good with that with my Duolingo, with my workout regime, But yeah, I think if you could train yourself or condition yourself to be a patient, consistent person, I believe you can do anything. My goals here are eventually to sell my art. I don't know how soon that's actually gonna be. I know it's probably unrealistic right now, but I can see it happening in the future. Whether that's in person or strictly online, I'm not sure, maybe a mix of both. But I would like to try out avenues of tabling or applying for art galleries if I can. I haven't even started a website. Maybe that's the first step in all this. Who knows? But I think I've completed the correct first step in my mind, which is create the social media and get the art out there. No one's gonna be able to buy your art if they don't know it exists. So I'm gonna work on creating my audience, and then later on I'll let them know, hey, I made a website, or hey, I have an online shop, or I'm gonna be at this tabling event. I have my art up at an art gallery right now, and you're invited. I don't know. Whatever happens, happens, but I did enjoy recording my thoughts and experiences so far with being a very small artist, wish me luck. That's all I can say. If you're also working on your small artist journey, I'd love to hear what advice you might have or experiences you're going through. Maybe I could grab a little insight from you. Thank you. Thank you for watching my disorganized rant about being a small artist. I hope this provided at least a little bit of insight on what it's like trying to get your art out there, be consistent, get supplies, and make your future goals and whatnot.